Thank you so much for coming tonight. And I'm Mark. This is Eddie. And hello. Hello. And so I'm going to start out with a brand new song. It's the newest song that I've written. And several years ago, some friends of ours and Miss Kelly and I went down to Terlingua. We were going to play a show in Terlingua at the Starlight Theater down there. And so we were actually staying outside of town, about 20 or 30 miles outside of town. And anytime that we would travel to Terlingua, all of our Apple products would switch to Mountain Time, even though they're not on Mountain Time. Terlingua was a lead mining community, and apparently at one point there were 3 lead mines in the mouth of those mines kind of all met in one place, and the spoils as they would pour them out looked like tongues, and so it was called Tres Lingua, right? Lingua meaning tongue. Right. And so then eventually it became Terlingua, probably because of rednecks. I'm not sure. But there's a little Easter egg in here for the people that may have gone down there that were a part of the Twilight Zone time shifting deal. So this is called El Camino, which means the way. Down near the Rio Grande, there are places where a man can disappear. In a land older than time, there's a spot where the world can find you there. Out in the Ocotillo, where the ghost of old vaqueros ride. Down the trails and through arroyos, where the dreams of desperados die. El Camino is the way. You can make it by today, Terlingua time. Watch your step, the locals tell, for serpientes de cascabel y tarantulas. You know the desert keeps her secrets well. Can't be bought, no, they ain't for sale to you. Out in the Ocotillo, where the ghost of old vaqueros ride. Down the trails and through arroyos, where the dreams of desperados dine. El Camino is the way. You can make it by today, Terlingua time. Yeah. Ocotillo, where the ghost of mescaleros ride. Down the trails and through arroyos, where the dreams of pistoleros die. El Camino is the way. You can make it by it today, Terlingua time. I said, El Camino is still the way. You can make it down there by today, Terlingua time. Oh, Terlingua time. Thank you so much.
Well, good evening, everybody. Good evening. I'm really, really excited to be here. Thank you so much for coming to listen to us. And Randy, Mark, thank you so much for having me here. I'm going to start this off with a song I usually start off with, and it's the first song that I ever had cut by another artist. It was actually cut by a Texas artist. I don't know if y'all know this guy. Who's Mr. James Land is his name. He's from around the Dallas area. And recorded this song a couple years ago on an album called Honky Tonk Kung Fu. So the song, a friend and I got together to write one time, and we were trying to think, as you do, what are you going to write about? And we decided to write a song about how strong women are.
Yeah. Already making friends.
Exactly. That's right. Oh, absolutely. So I hope you enjoy this one. It's called She's Water. She always says I'm her rock. There when she needs something strong. But what she doesn't know, she's water, and that's stronger than stone. But she cut a canyon right through the heart of me, smoothing the edges and scars that were carved in me. She made a garden where nothing would grow. She's water, and that's stronger than stone. As hard as I know I can be, you'd think she would rage like the sea, but she's just as gentle as falling snow. She's water, and that's stronger than stone. She cut a canyon right through the heart of me, smoothing the edges and scars that were carved in me. She made a garden where nothing would grow. She's water, and that's stronger than stone. She cut a canyon right through the heart of me, smoothing the edges edges and scars that were carved in me. She made a garden where nothing would grow. She's water, and that's stronger than stone. She's stronger than stone.
Thank you very much.
Well, right up the way there from Terlingua is this vibey little place called Marfa, Texas. And yeah, well, it's a pilgrimage. You know, nobody just stumbles into Marfa. You got to plan it and aim for it, and if you're lucky, you'll hit it. You know, and for thousands of years and maybe longer than that, the indigenous people out in that part of the country were seeing these weird lights that would come on at dusk, and they thought people were encroaching on their hunting grounds, and so they would sneak around out there trying to catch them, and they never could find them, so they started calling them ghost lights. And then sometime later, the Anglo settlers moved into that part of the country, and they saw the lights as well, and they said, cool, let's make a town, and we'll call it Marfa. And so they did, and they recorded, they filmed a few movies out there. It's now a big art mecca, and they built this cool little overlook place where you can go out at night and sit and watch the lights come on and do their thing. And so I was out there in 2006, and I saw the lights, and I thought, oh, man, this is really cool. And so I was talking about it, and Miss Kelly said, oh, I sure would like to see those. So we went down there, and some of our Roadrunner fan club came down there with us, and we made our way after Terlingua up to Marfa, and we sat out there as the wind came whipping across the prairie. We didn't have our coats. We nearly froze to death out there. And the lights had the night off, apparently. So
That's a long way to go.
But I thought, yeah, it's a long way. And so I thought, well, I should write me a song about the Marfa Lights, you know. And so I did, and I had recorded it on an album, and I'd been playing it. And one night I was playing the song, and I thought, this isn't even really about the Marfa Lights, you know. What it's really about is whatever your problems are, wherever you live right now, you can drive as far away as Marfa, Texas, which is 532 miles from my gate to there, and your problems will be waiting on you when you get there. So deal with your crap, people. I'm just telling you, that was free. All right? So this song is called Marfa Lights, not about the Marfa Lights. If I can put First Light behind me and Mexico on my left side, how far do you think a full tank can take me? How long till I see those Marfa Lights? Do big wheels keep on turning? Do carry on my wayward son? Do take it easy? Do I'm gonna let these ponies run? That's right. I dropped my letter in your mailbox. Baby, there was nothing left unsaid. Gotta find me a little back road inspiration. See if I can shake these cobwebs from my head. Do big wheels keep on turning? Do carry on my wayward son? Take it easy, do I'm gonna let these ponies run. Yeah. got Mr. DJ to keep me company. He's got the tunes to ease my mind, my windows down, and that desert breeze to cool me. Lord, I can almost see those marble lights, and baby, let them shine. Do big wheels keep on turning? Do carry on my wayward son? Do well, take it easy, and do I'm gonna let these ponies run. Here we go. Do big wheels keep on turning? Do carry on my wayward son? Do baby take it easy? And do I'm gonna let these ponies run, 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 run? Do gonna let these ponies run? Yeah. If I can put Maypearl behind me, Lord, I can almost see these Marfa lines. That was beautiful singing, everyone. Beautiful. Eddie Heinzelman on the lead guitar over here.
Thank you. Oh, goodness gracious. Very cool, very cool. So y'all, I'm a big fan of a man named a songwriter named Guy Clark. Any Guy Clark fans? I think he's one of the best that ever lived. And a couple years ago, there was a show at the Ryman Auditorium in Nashville, Tennessee, that was scheduled to be a concert in tribute of Guy Clark. And Guy passed away about a month before the show actually took place. And so it turned into a beautiful celebration of Guy's life and career. And it seemed like everybody and their brother was there. Emmylou Harris, Rodney Crowell, Joe Ely, Robert Earl Keen, Steve Earle. Who else? Some guy named Lyle Lovett showed up. Yeah, he was pretty good, you know. He was all right. After the show, I got invited to the after party, and so I went there with Jack Ingram. Anybody know Jack Ingram? And Jack asked if he could buy me a drink, and I said, well, of course, Jack, I'll let you buy me a drink. And he brought me this glass of this, I don't know if you ever heard this, it's this brown Kentucky water. And it was pretty good. But somehow at the end of the night, Jack bought me a drink, but I came up $30 short. Yeah, so if Jack ever buys you a drink, you know, just be careful. However, the next morning I woke up with this song, and Jack did not. I met a young woman who likes good music. She's got hips that sway and knows how to use them. She said, there's one record that lights my spark. It's old number one by old Guy Clark. She said, those boys from Texas sure sing good, and they write a song the way one should. I'd make love to a man from dawn till dark if he could write like old Guy Clark. She said, I'd be happy as a lark if you could write half as good as old Guy Clark. Gets my motor running so hot we'd find a place to park if you could write like old Guy Clark. I got this bright idea, I'd write her a song. Keep it simple, stupid, shouldn't take too long, and use all the right words that hit the mark. And write her one like old Guy Clark. But let me tell you, friends, it's harder than it looks. They don't teach this stuff in no songwriting book. You gotta write it real and deep at the heart.
to write you one like old Guy Clark. She said, I'd be happy as a lark if you could write half as good as old Guy Clark. Gets my motor running so hot we'd find a place to park if you could write like old Guy Clark. So I played her this song, gave it all I got, and I was sure it would hit just the right spot. But the words she said just broke my heart. She said, silly boy, there ain't nobody write half a speck, half as good as that old Guy Clark. Well, honey, I'd be happy as a lark if someday I could write like old Guy Clark.
Of course, one of our favorite places to play is once a year we go down to Galveston and we play the Old Quarter Acoustic Cafe. It was owned for a number of years by Rex Bell, who was Townes Van Zant's bass player, and he sold it to a young couple, and they have kept the tradition alive there, and it's still a shrine to Townes Van Zant down there. I don't think they've even dusted or swept because they're afraid that they're going to get rid of some of the mojo in the room. And we usually go down on a Friday and we'll do a meet and greet with whoever would like to hang out with us. And next day we'll get up and we might meet with some folks on that day too. It's a Saturday, and then we play the show that night. And then the next morning we usually go down to the beach and I'll preach on the beach. And this year we baptized 3 people in the Gulf of Mexico. Yep. And we didn't lose none of them to shark bite or jellyfishes or none of that. So win-win-win is what that was. And so we'll be playing there. I think it's June 6th this coming year. And if you go to mgband.com, you'll be able to see the link there as soon as tickets go on sale, and you'll be able to come down. And I think there may be a couple of people in this room that may have gone down and met us down there before, right? And some of you are repeat offenders, and we appreciate that. So please come and join us, because it's always wonderful people down there, and it's a great time. And I try to put on a fairly good show. Anyway, we really love Galveston because we love the seawall and we love the strand and all the brown water down there. One time we went down there and the water was blue. It was weird.
Yeah.
Everything was just off. And so, anyway, this is my Galveston song. It's called On Galveston, and I'll be singing it again on June 6th. I'll sing On Galveston, on Galveston. So tonight, though, I would like for you to sing along with me. And here we go. I think that it's high time, slip on down to Galveston again. We can rent that little place on the beach like we once did. We can walk hand in hand with bare feet upon the sand, and then we can watch that big old sun sink down with no one else around on Galveston. Here we go. On Galveston. That's right. On Galveston, we can make our getaway, head on down to stay on Galveston. On Galveston, on Galveston. We can make a little love, have a lot of fun on Galveston. Yeah. later on. I think it would be lovely if we could maybe rediscover that old Mexican restaurant up in that neighborhood. Somewhere between frozen margaritas, yeah, sizzling shrimp fajitas, I would. Baby, recognize that'll come on in your eyes as says I should on Galveston. Y'all sound beautiful. On Galveston, we can make our getaway, head on down to stay on Galveston. On Galveston, on Galveston, we can make a little love, have a lot of fun on Galveston. Yeah, yeah. So let's make our getaway. We can head on down to play on Galveston. Yeah, yeah. Let's make our getaway, my baby. We can slip on down today on Galveston. That was beautiful, everybody.
Nice.
Woo.
Well, all right. So, well, so we have some merchandise out back. I want to mention that. I flew in a couple days ago, and I sell my merchandise by the pound, so that I can fly back.
Take Southwest.
Shh. Hush. Oh, goodness gracious. No, this is I'm going to do this song. This was the first single I released off of my last album. And the story that goes along with this was I wrote this inspired by a book. There's a book called Steal Away Home by a Virginia author named Billy Coffey. And Billy was a star baseball player when he was in high school, and he was scouted by the major leagues. And his senior year in high school, he had a freak accident during a game, and it ended his career before it even started. And years ago, or years later, I'm sorry, he wrote this book, and I read it, and I found a lot of parallels because when I was a kid growing up, I played baseball. I played baseball in high school. In the book, the main character meets a girl in his hometown when they're really young and falls in love. And I met my wife when we were in high school, and we just celebrated our 30th anniversary. But thank you. And I was a country kid. I grew up on a farm out in the country, and she was a city girl, so to speak, because she grew up in town by the school. And so there are just a lot of things about this book that started to kind of resonate. It's really cool because the whole thing is written in innings instead of chapters. Keep the baseball thing going. And I won't give away the story or anything, but one of the scenes in the book, the boy and girl when they're young, they meet after school every day at this tree. Because because they're from different sides of the tracks, so to speak. And if she shows up at the tree and he doesn't show up, she would leave him a pile of rocks to let him know that she had been there. And if he got there and she didn't show up, he would leave her a dandelion. This song's called Dandelion.
Two young hearts from two sides of town couldn't dare be seen together, 'cause word sure gets around. Golden hair falling on her snow white dress, I knew I'd love her forever after our first kiss. But were you ever mine, dandelion? Standing on that hillside, she asked, "What do you see?" I said, "Out there's everything I want, but right here's all I need." She said, "You'll spend your lifetime searching for answers you could find at home." And she kissed me deeply one more time. In a moment she was gone. But were you ever mine, dandelion? Dandelion, sweet dandelion. Were you ever really mine, dandelion? Maybe that's what I get for loving what can't love me back. The one of a dream that'll never miss me at all. It's beautiful because it's so big, and it's hell because I'm so small. But were you ever mine, dandelion? Dandelion.
Thank you.
Several years ago, well, first of all, I should say that I play a lot in the hill country, especially on the Fredericksburg side of the hill country, and we're down there more than we're home a lot of times, and they all think that we live down there. Don't tell them we don't, because they'll be mad I'm taking all their money. But there's a little place down there called Bankersmith, Texas, and we played there a whole lot. And it was a place where there was a guy in town way back in the day. He was a banker in town, and his name was Smith. And so he thought, I'm going to make a town, and we'll call it Banker Smith here, and I'm going to try to get the railroad to come through here. And so he was successful. And they had one of 3 railroad tunnels in Texas that's down there. And it was down there in that part of the country, a lot of the towns are about 30 miles apart, because that's about how far the train could travel before it needed to fill up with water again. And so at some point they lost the train, and the town dried up and went away. And there was a state senator from New York, and he did the Davy Crockett thing. He said, you guys can go to hell. I'm going to Texas. And he came on down here, and he bought the land out there, and he turned it into an event place. And he has a winery up the road from the main part, and he has bison, and he has camels and longhorns, and he has chupacabras and flying monkeys and all kinds of stuff up there. And he he has a lot of events there, and it's a great place to go. It feels like home. But what they didn't have a song. And so they were doing a songwriting contest so they could have a song like that other place that starts with an L down there. And I saw that they were doing a song contest, but I had missed the deadline to participate. So I didn't think any more about it. And after a few weeks, I got a phone call from someone down there, and they said, we still don't have our song, and we were wondering if you might be interested in writing a song. And I said, absolutely. When do you need it? And they said, yesterday. So I went back in time, and I wrote the song. I called Randy, and the next day we were here recording the video. The next day the video was there, and within a few weeks we had over 10,000 views on our video. The next closest had about 1,000 views, I think it was. So I was feeling pretty uppity. Felt like I had that in the bag, you know. And they had booked me to play down there on a Friday, and then the songwriting contest was the next day. And so I went down. It was an outside gig, and so we played it. And as we were playing it, we were up on this hill, and a cold front came through. And by the end of it, with that wind in my ear all night, my throat was kind of scratchy, and my ear kind of hurt. And I thought, well, you know, been out in the cold front, you know. Next day, we got up, we went to the show, and we were playing it. And I didn't win. And I was pretty devastated about it, because I really thought that I was going to win that thing. And but I did catch COVID for the first time. So there is that. That was the consolation prize. And Kelly and I both had it, and we fought our way home. And we survived. And I got a great song out of it, and it went to like number 52 on the charts. And so take that, you know. So anyway, this is my Banker Smith, Texas song. And this is what Banker Smith is like. Come on down and see us when we're there sometime, and stop in and sing along with me there. I've been dreaming of a lazy country road outside of Fredericksburg, and that familiar song on the hill country breeze that I just once heard. I've been checking my watch since noon. 5 o'clock can't come too soon. You and I, memories waiting to be made tonight. Guitars are coming out in Bakersmith, Texas. Gonna meet them there, that's where the good life is. That Lone Star State of mind we both love. Boots on the hardwood, beer in hand, my arm around you, baby, and listen to the band. Don't it sound like heaven tonight in Bankersmith, Texas? It seems we never take the time just to get away. We keep on burning that candle that both good ends night and day. Now we can't keep on keeping on. It's time we change our song, 'cause you and I have memories waiting to be made today, yeah. All our friends are hanging out in Bakersmith, Texas. We're gonna meet them there. That's where the good life is, that Lone Star State of mind we both love. We'll put our boots on the hardwood, hand in hand, playing kissy kissy, baby, ain't it grand? It sounds like heaven tonight. Bakersmith, Texas, tricky part. Go, Eddie. I hear guitars tuning up in Bakersmith, Texas. Got a lot of friends there we ain't even met yet. That Lone Star State of mind we both love. Well, we can make tonight forever if that's how you feel. You know I love you, Kelly, 'cause I'm head over heels. It sounds like heaven tonight in Bakersmith, Texas. Oh, it feels like heaven tonight, Bakersmith, Texas. Lord, it's gonna be heaven tonight. Everything's gonna be alright, 'cause everybody's doing it right in Bakersmith, Texas. Bakersmith, Texas. Yeah, thank you so much.
Well, since we're doing songs about places, so several years ago, I got a text message asking me if I'd fly to Dallas and play with a country artist named Radney Foster, and that started a friendship and a little bit of a career for me there. I'd been playing with different artists, but I've been with Radney now for 13 years as guitar player, and I've gotten to see a lot of places. But when I first came to Texas, I'll be honest with you, people used to ask where I was from, and I was a little nervous, and so I'd tell everybody that I was from Far East Texas. And they were like, East Texas? I said, yeah, like way, way east. Almost as east as you can go. And they're like, beyond Tyler? Well, yeah, beyond Tyler. Texarkana? No, further than Texarkana. And they were like, where is that? And I said, it's a little place called Indiana. And so, no, it's, I was putting together this last album, and I don't know why. I mean, I grew up on a little farm in southeastern Indiana, and every year we used to raise tobacco. And I tell people we raise tobacco, we don't grow tobacco, right? Because it's a year-round job, and so you plant it, you transplant it, you plant it again. You do all that stuff all year long. Cut it and strip it and hang it in a barn. We had a tobacco barn. And it never failed that in the middle of winter, the coldest day, that's when we would go out and strip the leaves off and bale it so that we could take it to Kentucky to sell it. And we always did that, and we always did it in the middle of the night. We loaded a 52 flatbed Ford full of, tobacco, and we'd just drive it to the ferry. The only way we could get across the river was across the ferry. And I didn't realize until years later that the reason we did that was Dad was avoiding the scales. Well, hey. But anyway, I don't know what hit me with this. I just thought I'd write a little song about it, and this was on my last record. It's called "The Heart Knows What It Needs." They said take the ferry across the Ohio River, 'cause there's a gold mine waiting on the other side. We loaded that old Ford truck full of bales of burley and headed out in the middle of the night. Drove like hell to meet the captain. He had a reputation for being right on time. When we got down to the bank, there was no one there to thank. There wasn't a dang boat anywhere in sight. Well, maybe there ain't no gold left in Kentucky, just like there ain't much country music up in Nashville, Tennessee. Chasing fame and fortune and a dream as big as Texas, all the heart knows what it needs. I walked to the cafe to get a cup of coffee and saw the prettiest waitress there that I'd ever seen. She asked me about the captain. I said, well, I ain't seen him. She winked and smiled, and man, I fell deep. Well, maybe there ain't no gold left in Kentucky, just like there ain't much country music in Nashville, Tennessee. Chasing fame and fortune and a dream as big as Texas, all the heart knows what it needs. Yeah, what it needs. Then an old man came up and said, "What's your hurry, son? This old ferry runs every 15 minutes on the dime. And you spent the last hour staring at Becky Connor. Now take that girl by the hand, don't you miss the next ride. You know there's still some gold left in Kentucky, and there's plenty of country music out in Nashville, Tennessee. Chase your fame and fortune and a dream as big as Texas, 'cause the heart knows what it needs. Yeah, what it needs. Thank you.
If you want. Yeah.
So, how many of you know about, you know Radney Foster? You know of Radney Foster?
Yeah.
Anybody? When I was first starting out, I got a phone call, and I was asked if I would be interested in opening for Radney Foster. I had been a fan of Radney since Foster and Lloyd back in the day, and almost as importantly, I was going, if I opened for him, I would be playing in front of people, which was rare for me back then. I was used to playing for some feller that was passed out under a bar stool and some bartender that was looking at his watch like, if you put that guitar up, we could both go home, you know? But I was excited to get to play in front of people, And I was looking forward to meeting Radney, and so I showed up, and Radney was cool. He was kind of quiet, but really nice guy. And sure enough, everybody showed up that night. It was packed, and I played, and I felt like I played pretty well. And when my part was done, I was hanging back at the back at the merch table. That's what we call it in the biz, the merch table, And this big old tall fella came walking up to me, and he said, "Hi, I'm Jack." And I said, "Hi, Jack." And he said, "Man, you're a wonderful songwriter, great singer, and a fine guitar player." I said, "Thank you so much, Jack." And then there were two grown men looking into each other's eyes because the conversation kind of waned, and that got kind of weird for me. And I said, "Great to meet you, Jack." And I walked off as one might, right? Then I noticed everybody's getting their picture taken with Jack, That's weird. When I went home that night, my wife said, "So how was it?" I said, "Oh, it was great. Radney was cool, the whole thing." And I met some guy tonight, like Jerry or Jimmy Ingram or something. And she said, "Jack Ingram?" I go, "Yeah, that's it." She goes, "Honey, he's like a national act." Everybody was getting his picture taken with Jack, and I thought it was weird. And it was like, oh, well, I didn't know. Oops. I know now, but anyway, a couple of months later, we were going to see Lyle Lovett over at the Bass Hall, and happened to look over my shoulder, and Jack and his wife Amy were walking behind us down the sidewalk, and I turned around. I said, "Oh," I said, "Honey, there's Jack Ingram," and I'm pretty sure I heard him say, "Hey, honey, there's that son of a," that didn't know who I was. Anyway, this is not a Jack Ingram song. This is a Radney Foster song. And I thought it would be fun because I met Eddie when he was playing for Radney. And I saw him on the stage at Green Hall, and he was playing a guitar I didn't recognize. And I reached out to him. He was kind enough to reach back, and we talked off and on over social media, and saw him at another show, and I just really liked him a whole lot. He didn't care for me that much, but I just kept pushing, and until he finally broke down and said, "Yes, I'll come to Texas if you'll just shut up." So here he is, and thank you for being here.
Thank you.
But I thought we'd play a little Radney song for you tonight, because that's...
Jack didn't give you my $30, did he?
No, he didn't.
Okay, just checking.
Do you like him now?
Oh, yeah.
I can see her in that water, church dress hung up in a tree, splashing, flirting, laughing, teasing me. Afternoon of secrets, swimming naked in a pool of dreams. Last high school summer, dripping dry by Sycamore Creek. Well, she kissed me one last time, headed home. And I'm still haunted by what she said when I'm alone. She said, "Boy, you got a chance to be free of all these small town strings that tie the rest of us down." She said, "Boy, you quit your hanging around. Take that guitar and run faster than the setting sun. You can write a song later about my memory. You can always come back, you can always come back to Sycamore Creek." Well, the guitar made the magic. I just hung on for the ride. I've walked amongst giants, played with legends side by side. She came to see me in New Orleans on the tour bus after the show. I kissed goodbye the one I never should have let go. Said, "You got a chance to be so wild on those guitar strings. Stage lights in every town. Hey, look at where you're hanging around. Take that guitar and run faster than the setting sun. You can write a song later about my memory. You can always come back, you can always come back. Sycamore Creek. Well, I knew she'd gotten married. I always forget the guy's name, but he played tight in the year we won district. It got bad and it got ugly. Through tears one night she called me. I drove 10 hours to the water. I couldn't resist it. I said, girl, you got a chance to be free of all these small town strings. Cut the ties that keep you down. I said, girl, you quit your hanging around. Take this money and run faster than the setting sun. Well, she soaked my shirt, crying over memories. I said, don't ever come back, don't you never come back. Sycamore Creek. Eddie Heinzelman, everybody. Doing what he does.
Oh, man. Oh, goodness. Well, thank you. Thank you. Oh, what should I do? What should I do?
Play that. That good one that you like.
That good one?
That one good one that you wrote.
That
Play
one good one?
One good one you wrote.
Yeah, thanks. So, well, I tell people that, you know, I moved to Nashville after I got out of college, and it was Nashville or Austin, and Nashville was closer. And so, but I went there to be a guitar player and to write songs, and I've gotten to do a lot of really cool things and play with some really great people. And I've had a few songs cut. I haven't, you know, hit the big time, so to speak. Haven't had the big number one. But I tell people, I don't mind, you know, not having hit songs, because then I don't have to play those tired old hits every time I go out. Right? Yeah. So that's what I tell myself anyway. But a few years ago, I was fortunate enough to have a song featured in a movie. I don't know if any of y'all have seen it. I assume not. There's a movie called Dead in 5 Heartbeats. Yeah, see? And it was a light summer fare. No, it's a movie that was loosely based off the life of a man named Sonny Barger. If you recognize that name, Sonny was he headed up the Oakland and then the Arizona chapter of the Hells Angels. And Sonny was at Altamont, if that says anything. And but I got to go to the premiere of the movie in Birmingham, Alabama, and it was a really fun thing. Sitting there in the audience with 300 of the Devil's Disciples Motorcycle Club.
Oh, wow.
And it was the one thing I will say is getting to see the main character in the movie get on his bike at the end and ride off into the sunset to this song was pretty thrilling. It's called Crawl.
Well, I fly it high from this heart of mine, a flag of human pride. Don't take no lip, and boy, I'll bet you this, I ain't scared to walk the line. No, I ain't out to stir things up. Push me in a corner and you'll find I'll jump up, I'll fight back. No way I'm ever gonna back down and I'll dust off. I'll pick up the slack, draw a line, stand my ground. Go ahead, take your best shot. I'll take it one more round. You can knock me down, back me up against the wall. I ain't gonna crawl. Don't aim to please anyone but me. I stand by my beliefs. But don't get me wrong, I ain't too strong to hit the hardwood on my knees. Brother, let me warn you now, I ain't one to turn the other cheek. No, I'll jump up, I'll fight back. No way I'm ever gonna back down and I'll dust off. I'll pick up the slack, draw a line, stand my ground. Go ahead, take your best shot. I'll take it one more round. You can knock me down, back me up against the wall. I ain't gonna crawl. Don't wanna come off trying to act a little too tough, but when I've had enough and push comes down to shove, I'll jump up, fight back. No way in hell I'm gonna back down and I'll dust off. I'll pick up the slack, draw a line, stand my ground. Go ahead, take your best shot. I'll take it one more round. You can knock me down, back me up against the wall. I ain't gonna crawl. No, I ain't gonna crawl. I ain't gonna crawl.
Thank you. We breaking or we do another?
Huh?
You want to do one more?
I'll do one more each and take a break.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. So, similarly to the Radney Foster deal, I got a phone call one time and I was asked, how would you like to open for Gary P. Nunn? I said, I would like that very much. I didn't even know who Gary P. Nunn was. I mean, I know now, you know. But I was just getting started in the Texas music thing, and mainly because they latched on to me, and I'm so grateful for that because they're so faithful to come out night after night after night. Some of you have seen me more than once this week, and I'm probably sick of it, but I'm grateful for it. And they'll laugh at the right spots, they'll sing along, they'll cry at the right spots, and so I'm grateful for that. But anyway, so we were doing our last song of our what do you call that when we set? What do you call that thing when you come in to the and you get your sound check? What do you call that? Oh yeah, sound check.
Oh,
so
yeah.
we were doing that when the back door blew open and this rowdy bunch of ne'er-do-wells came stumbling in, and it was Gary P's band. You know, they heard we were playing, so they sort of settled down. And when we finished that song, one of the guys in the band said, "Man, they sound really great. What kind of music do they play?" And one of our folks out there said, I don't know. It's kind of like a Texas kind of country. He goes, "Whoa, Texas kind of country. Hey, Gary, did you hear that?" And Gary was walking in about that time, and he said, "Texas kind of country. I think I'll write me a song called Texas Kind of Country." Well, I hadn't met Gary yet, so I hopped off the stage and walked right up to him and said, "So you're going to steal our idea?" He said, "Heck yeah, I am." I said, "I'll race you for it." He laughed. I laughed. Well, it filled up, and we were playing pretty well. And I happened to look up, and right over here, Gary P. had snuck in the back. He had his cowboy hat on, his sunglasses on. It was dark as midnight in there. Had his sunglasses on, and he was sitting about halfway in a bar stool with his arms crossed across his chest with his head down, listening to our set. And I thought, that is so cool, man. And so we finished our set, and I was kind of hanging out the back, and And during his third set, he called me up on stage and handed me his Telecaster, and I got to play with the band for the rest of the night. And that was cool. Yeah. When it was all over and we'd sold all our stuff and everybody was gone, Gary P. and I were hanging out at the bar because that's what musicians do, I suppose. And he said, wow. He said, you guys are great. He said, you're a great singer and guitar player and songwriter. And he said, what are you doing next weekend now? We're very successful musicians. So I said, nothing. And he said, well, why don't you come on down to Green Hall and open for us? And I said, cool. Green Hall, what's that? I know now. And I figured it out that week, boy, and I lit a shuck down there, and I beat my band, his band, Gary P. himself, the bartender, and I'm just walking around, in redneck Mecca down there in Green Hall and just soaking the vibe up, and eventually people started showing up, and finally Gary P. showed up, and I walked up to him and said, hey, did you write your song? And he laughed, and he said, no, did you? And I said, heck yeah, I did, And so we played that night, and it was wall-to-wall rednecks in that place, boy, and it was raining outside, so it was muggy in there now. And everybody was pretty much all stuck together, and somebody went to get a beer, you hear as they peeled off the person next to them. And so when we got done, Gary P. and them played, and of course they were killing it. And when it was over and we'd sold all our merchandise and everybody was gone, I was sitting at one of those little picnic tables over by the window, Gary P. grabbed his acoustic guitar and hopped off the stage. He could still hop off the stage back then. And he walked over to me and he handed me his guitar and sat down beside me, and I played this song for him right there in Green Hall. And he loved it because I put his name in the third verse. And so anyway, it sounded something just like this. Hey, now there's a place way down in Texas where all the cowboys bring their cowgirls out to see a little band who plays an infectious kind of music that they like to call a Texas kind of country. Well, I ain't got nothing against the boys from Nashville, 'cause I know they really understand how to pick and grin. But still my heart beats to a little swinging rhythm, a Texas kind of country that puts me in this state I'm in. Well, I know that I just might be biased, but when you're right, you can't be wrong, you just can't be wrong. So raise that shiner buck up to that Lone Star flag, son, while we play a Texas kind of country all night long. Woo! And I can tell, mister, you ain't from around here. So let me see if I can explain what I mean about that Texas kind of country, why it's so dear to every God-fearing, hell-raising Texan you've ever seen. Well, I know that I just might be biased, but when you're right, you can't be wrong, you can't be wrong. So raise that shiner buck up to that Lone Star flag, son, while we play a Texas kind of country all night long. Play a little bit, Eddie. Woo. If you ain't from Texas, then you can't get loud. If you can't get loud, you just can't have no fun. Baby, have some fun, but take care of one another. 'Cause I want to go home with the armadillos like Gary P. Nunda. Yeah, you love that part. Well, I know that I just might be by you when you're right. You can't be wrong. So here's that Shriner Bach up in Salute, son, while we play a Texas kind of country all night long. While the boys play a Texas kind of country all night long. While Eddie plays a Texas kind of country all night long. That was mighty fine picking there, Ed.
Well, thank you, sir. Thank you. Well, all right. I'm gonna. Man, I don't know. I don't know if I should do this one or not.
Well, we won't know till you do it, and then we'll know for sure.
Well, here's what's gonna happen. The last couple nights, Mark has played a really pretty song that he wrote for Kelly, and I always have to follow it. And so tonight, I'm going to turn the tables.
Damn it! What is wrong with me?
And so, yeah. As I was working on my last album, I was a song short, and my producer was like, "Man, why don't you just find a song that you really like that you've written, and we'll just, put it on the album." I said, it's not that easy. Everything else on the album was relatively new. I had been touring a lot with Radney, and so it kind of has this road theme to it anyway. And I said, no, I gotta write a new song, but I didn't have anything. And a few years ago, when I did my first album, I actually had written a song for my wife. The day before Valentine's Day, when I didn't have anything to give her.
Yikes!
Aha! I said, I know. I'll write her a song. And I put it on the first album, and I played it for her, and she was basically like, yeah, thanks, that's nice. So, okay, well, I was sitting on an airplane, and the idea of this came to me, and so I wrote this song, and this is the one that she says is her song. And I was playing a show, and I usually get to the point, we'll do this in the second half, but I usually get to a point of the show where I start asking the audience, I've played some stuff, and what do you want to hear? You want to hear something, songwritery? You want to hear something funny? You want to hear something up-tempo? And at this one show, this lady in the back said, play that song you wrote for your wife. And at the moment, I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I couldn't think of what it was. And then I realized that she was talking about this one. And it got me thinking that not every song I write is about my wife, obviously. But somewhere, some way, every song I write is for my wife. Especially this one. Seems like a hustle and I struggle every single day. Can't count the white lines and broken dreams scattered on the way. I've been lower than low and high as a kite, giving sweat, blood, and tears underneath the spotlight. But the road never ends. It goes on and on. I have to leave when it calls for the sake of a song. And it's who I am.
not just what I do, and the same road that takes me away leads me back home to you. I know it ain't always easy loving this troubadour, and this ain't quite the life that you bargained for. It gets harder to leave each time I walk out that door, and I can't really blame you for wanting something more. But the road never ends, it goes on and on. I have to leave when it calls for the sake of a song, and it's who I am, not just what I do, and the same road that takes me away leads me back home to you. I've been tempted and tried. Sometimes I lose my mind, and I can't stand the thought of leaving you behind in some hotel room when I'm too tired to sleep. Back in your loving arms is where I long to be. But the road never ends, it goes on and on. I have to leave when it calls for the sake of a song, and it's who I am, not just what I do, and the same road that takes me away. Yeah, the same road that takes me away leads me back home to you. Back home to you.
Thank you so much.
We'll be right back, and y'all too.